What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates
talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
Welcome back to Bluegrass State of Mind. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody that has listened to our podcast thus far. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. It is free. So go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't yet. It's those three little dots at the top for whatever stream you're listening in. Also, be sure to follow all of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, just so you all can keep up to date with when we drop new episodes. And we just appreciate everybody supporting us. Let's get right into it, fellas. Man, last night was a huge game for Kentucky.
Big win.
I know that everybody was tuning into that, so let's just dive right into it. Let's go straight. I know I have a lot of thoughts myself. I know you two do as well. So, Colton, biggest takeaways that you have from UK Tennessee. But before we get into that, the score was 75-64. Kentucky going into that game was ranked 15th, and Tennessee was ranked 5. It was an in-conference matchup. So, what do you think, man?
My biggest takeaway is this is probably out of the whole year, even though we've won big games, this is probably the proudest I've been of the team and the most excited I've been of the team the whole year. And the reason is that we have shown improvement over the last two games in effort, especially defensively, which, obviously was the big question up until the last couple games. I get it. Tennessee's offense hasn't shot the ball well the two games we played us. That is a factor, obviously, compared to a team that has a lot of good shooters. But you can tell, like, the effort there, they've took it to heart. Maybe it took Pope breaking some furniture in that Ole Miss game in the first half.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that second half of the Ole Miss game, South Carolina game, and the Tennessee game, they've just played with a different effort. Obviously the injuries are still a factor, but I think you gave yourself leeway room now to be able to rest those guys for a few games anyhow and still be in okay position. And I think that's huge because if you lose that game last night, no matter how hard you played, if you don't have Butler and Robinson for the next 4 or 5 games, you're looking at possibly, who knows how many we can win in the next 4 and 5 without both of them. Now you added another quad 1 win, another top 10 win. I think Kentucky, they're playing with more effort. You're getting contributions from the bench, random guys, Trent Noah, Travis Perry. Hitting big shots. Look, we shoot the ball lights out. We do. I was looking back, we have shot. The Georgia game was the only game that we haven't shot at least 46% from the field. That's crazy in SEC play.
Yeah.
So I think that's a trend for us. I think that's something to expect, and if we can play with that defensive effort going forward, I definitely see a higher ceiling for this team if that effort continues.
Yeah, so let me pause you just for a second and swing over to Mason. So Mason Colton is talking about how he can see the improvement of Tennessee or of Kentucky's defense, and then he touched a little bit on Tennessee hasn't shot the ball very well in both matchups. However, Tennessee shoots the ball from 3-point land at nearly 34%. That's not bad. So is that more of an applause on Kentucky defense, or is that just Tennessee, just not being able to shoot the ball well against Kentucky when they play?
Yeah, like Hope said, our defenses look much better, but in both games that we played against Tennessee, our defenses look great both games, I feel like. I feel like that was part of our philosophy going in, our defensive strategy going in, that Pope was kind of, make them beat us from the 3. And you could see that last night kind of going under screens, trying to cut off driving lanes with them going through screens, not letting them penetrate. I think we did a good job with Ziegler both games. I know he ended up with, 13 or 14 the first game and 17 last night. But he's so efficient when he can get downhill and get in the lane and create for other players, and we kind of limited him in both games being able to do that. I think he really tried to emphasize, let's make him a scorer. Let's make him shoot over top of us. He's not a big guy, make him shoot over top of us in the paint outside and limit him from getting in those gaps and getting in those lanes and creating for other players. So I think Pope's had a great strategy with them. I think he kind of has their number this year from what we've seen defensively. That these two games against Tennessee and then South Carolina, I think that's the best we've looked all year defensively. Both the games against Tennessee and in South Carolina. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of overlooking how good of a win this is, especially in Knoxville too. Just because Kentucky hates Tennessee so much, we just kind of put them down every year. Oh, they're not that good. They never made a Final Four, yada, yada. But I mean, they had 5 losses and 2 of those are to us.
Mm-hmm.
Their other 3 losses are by a combined 5 points, I think, or 4 points, something crazy. I think they lost at Auburn by 2, at Vandy by 1.
They got killed at Florida.
Yeah, at Florida by 20
other than that
plus.
game,
But I mean, they have 3 losses, all in the SEC, and we have 5 total, and 2 of their losses are to us. So it was a really big win. Like Colton said, seeing some guys step up, the Kentucky boys, they came in and played a huge part last night. So it was good seeing that, and I really think this one was another big one for us mentally moving forward. We got to try to get healthy.
And you always, the past 2 episodes that we've had, you've really talked a lot about Lamont Butler and how he is the key to this team. I mean, just talk a little bit about right from the jump. I mean, the very first possession, steals it from Ziegler, and he sets the tone.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that for us moving forward? Now that obviously we've seen him go out and not return. I mean, it's almost as if like he is the leader of this team because it just changes the whole dynamic of our defense.
Yeah. And Mark Pope says that, he's the heart and soul of this team. And like you said, he came out and set that tone yesterday. And I mean, it just shows you what type of player and what type of heart he really has. He's out there. He already knows his shoulder's banged up. From what I can gather, it sounds like it's probably a torn labrum and he's going to have surgery eventually. But I mean, he knocks that ball away and he doesn't care. He's still diving on the floor after, sacrificing his body. I think that shows a lot to who he is. And I think that also shows a lot to the team that he's willing to go out there even when he's still hurt and put all that on the line. So I think it was a really big win for us. And hopefully we can keep the momentum going.
Yeah. I think for me, some of the biggest takeaways is that obviously our defense, it starts with our defense. And, Hope at the halftime was talking about how they're more up the line. And I know I said previously, having that body contact and not allowing them to start their offense in like right at the free throw line, rather than us, how we played last night, we're up in them. It's just harder to get into your sets whenever you're up on the line on those offensive players. But I think also, other than the defense, I think we got to talk a little bit about what you just mentioned is the Kentucky boys. And, I think the biggest surprise for me personally has been Trent Noah. I think coming into the season, people knew he could shoot the ball. That we knew that. We knew that he could knock down shots. But I think that's most impressed me whenever I see him play is just having the feel of getting to the basketball. And, coaching, I know that in high school you was able to see me, and in college, it reminded me obviously a lot of myself on just having a feel of where the basketball is going to come off on a rebound. And, I think that is a very underrated skill. Rebounding is not just about size. It's about knowing exactly where the ball is going to go, making body contact, and actually finishing it off by rebounding. So, Colton, what about Noah? I mean, the guy works hard. And, I think his defense has improved a little bit too.
Yeah, so I think the biggest question for Noah coming in was the athleticism, right? At the position he played with being, I think he's like 6'5", right? And you're pushing that 3 spot and the 2-3 spot, and no one really knew the type of athleticism because you see someone like a Duthiero in the 3 spot last year, right?
Yeah.
And you start comparing him to
Big
Noah,
difference.
big difference, right?
Yeah.
In athleticism. But like you said, the biggest thing I noticed with Noah is his basketball IQ, right? He uses that lack. Right, you can. And so, as you said, like when you played, you know that when you were guarding on defense, a lot of times you weren't going to be the most athletic guy. But using your IQ, you knew that if there was a guy that was 10 times faster than you, you're not going to get right up on him at the 3-point line, right? He's going to blow by you. So a little cushion goes a long way. The getting in the right rebounding position, right? You don't have to sit there and be the biggest guy. being able to follow the ball, like you said, his basketball IQ is what impresses me the most. And to me, he's the one of the freshmen altogether that plays with the most poise out there, right? He doesn't seem to get rattled ever.
Yeah.
I think Perry has moments where he shows being rattled, and I think part of that's because he's having to play the guard position where he
and have the
used
ball
to
in his
be.
hands all the
Right.
time.
And I
coming
don't
up.
think that he was prepared to do that, especially freshman year. Right. You're in the toughest year of the SEC ever, having to be a point guard for the University of Kentucky. So I think that's a lot on him, but I do think Perry has shown improvements, and I do think there's a little more hope for him than what I was thinking. Like, I think you'll show improvement, and I really think by like junior year, I don't know that he's ever going to have the athleticism to be an elite defender.
Yeah.
But I do think his shooting ability and basketball IQ can cause him to be a really solid point guard for us in a couple years. And Trent Noah's the same way. So I'm excited about the Kentucky boys. I think they can always be key pieces. I don't know that they can ever lead teams, right? But as long as you're surrounding them with guys that they can help contribute to, I look forward to it going forward. They were big last night.
Yeah.
And we need it. And so
I think the team that we saw last night is a team that can make a deep run in March. And I think with the shooting that we have, the shooting that we have and all the shooters and playing that fast paced basketball with that defense, that's a dangerous team. Now, it also, we could come out and play a game like we did against Ole Miss. But I think fully healthy, and I know a lot of teams can say that, well, we're full health, but this Kentucky team, we have not got to see at full health with this defense. And I think that if we can get back to where get Robinson back healthy, get Butler back healthy, and even Carr get back healthy, I think it's a dangerous team come March. What do you think, Mason? You think we can make a deep run?
Oh, I agree. If we're playing like that and we're fully healthy, I truly believe we can beat anybody in college basketball. The top 5 teams, so Tennessee, Florida, and Duke, they're combined 61-7 versus the rest of college basketball. They're 0-4 against us. Three of
That's
the
a
top
big
5
stat.
teams. 3 of the top 5 teams right there. 4 of their losses are to us. So we can obviously beat anybody in the country.
We had Bama. We had beat.
Yeah. Yeah. There was those 3 games we lost, I think. We were up. We were leading with less than 5 minutes to go in the game on all those. So I think a lot of that had to do with kind of Lamont's injury and things. Like I said, he's a big piece for us at the point guard position and kind of controlling the game. Like you said, Perry gets flustered at times. But biggest thing is just health. And even when we aren't healthy, we've had guys step up. We've already mentioned Travis Perry and Trent Noah. They were probably 11th, 12th guys in the rotation coming into this year. Now here they are playing 15, 20 minutes a game for us. Kind of same thing with Ansley Almanor. He stepped up big for us too. I think he was probably going to end up being like 9th guy in the rotation, and he's come in.
Garrison's playing good minutes. I know his defense is wishy-washy, but
yeah,
I think he comes in there, and it's hard to sit a guy who can give you instant offense or have that threat. And
right.
I think that it's hard to sit somebody like that. Colton, I think also we talk about injuries right now. If you're the head coach of Kentucky basketball, what are you doing right now? Are you going to sit Robinson and Butler and let them get healthy, wait till the SEC tournament? Are you going to maybe kind of play it out? If we win a game or lose 2 or 3 in a row, then play. What do you think going into this Mark Pope has to be thinking about?
So I think the next 2 games are very important because you're playing 2 teams that are sitting on the bubble, if not out of the tournament, with Texas and Vanderbilt. Both not going to be easy games because it's at Texas, and then Vandy's playing tough all year, right? If you lose those 2 games, it's going to hurt your seeding a little more because we have some great wins, but a lot of our losses are coming to teams that are right on the bubble or not even going to make the tournament. Right. So with Ohio State, right, these are teams that are in the lower part of their losses. Their wins have come against the best teams, right? But their losses have come against some bottom teams a little bit. So I would sit them the next 2 games. If you win at least one of those, I think you try to make it to maybe the last game of the year, like a senior night. and bring him back, because I do want to say, like, Butler hasn't been a big scoring factor since he's been back. I think there has been a little rust, right? So I don't want to go into a cold SEC tournament with not have playing in 3 weeks, especially Robinson. Robinson you might could go with, but Butler, I would like to see him play. Yeah, to me, the biggest thing is last night, I feel like once Butler went out, but our offense gets a little stagnant. A lot of the threes we hit weren't off of plays, right? Kobe Bryant's couple step backs.
Yeah, two right there at the end.
Harry and Noah both like immediate catch and shoots. Like they weren't coming off screens. They just caught it, shot it. I think Almanor had a couple where we drove, hit him in the corner. He come off the screen. He had a couple, but a lot of it just was catch and shoot. That works for so long as you're hitting, but a lot of times that's a tougher way to survive. And to me, I think our biggest key going forward is we've got to win the first half, right? I was looking, and we have not lost a game that we're leading at halftime. We ain't lost a game. So any game that we've been leading at halftime, we have not lost. Every loss we have, we were down at halftime, right? So we've had comebacks. We've come back before, but we haven't lost a game. I don't want to have to rely on a 10 or 15 point comeback in the second half.
In March.
So, to me, I sit them for the next 2 games. See if you can beat Texas and Vandy without them. And if you do, then you might go as far as you can. But if not, I think you bring them back for the last 2 games if they are available.
Yeah. I think you just said about how we're losing some of those games against teams that are on the bubble and then winning the big games. Just to spit a quick stat out there, we have 5 wins against top 10 teams. And then we have 7 against top 15 teams, and we're 7-1 against those top 15 teams. And Mason, you sent an interesting stat to the group chat. I believe it was, what was it you was telling us about last time we done this?
Oh yeah, last time we had this many wins against, was it top 5 that I said, or top 10 teams
top 5.
maybe? Top 5 teams was back in 2011, 2012 when we won the national championship. So pretty interesting fact there. Yeah.
Hopefully it can feed off that. Well, I mean, just a great overnight in general. You know, it's always good to beat Tennessee. But you know, Tennessee is a great team, and somewhat of me in the back of my head, I'm like, we're going to see them in the SEC tournament, or even draw them in March.
What they say? It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah, and that's kind of been my thought process. But it's exciting for the fan base of Kentucky. You got the Kentucky boys who had a big game and just a big win in general. All right, let's move on, guys. So we're moving on to the GOAT of fast food restaurants. We're going to take a little break from sports, and then we'll go to our GOAT of fast food restaurants. Colton, let's start with you.
I mean, I think it's got to be Chick-fil-A, right? I mean, I think that's. I mean, to me, I think it's Chick-fil-A, or this is an off one that you might not consider. I don't even know if you consider it fast food, but I would kind of. Is Five Guys.
What?
Right? Hey, listen, I'm telling you, the amount of fries that you get at Five Guys, their burgers, it's a little expensive, and I don't think they have a drive-through, so you actually have to go in the Five Guys. But man,
Colton loves some Five Guys.
I'm telling you, I wish there. I mean, I think the nearest one's in Bowling Green, so it's not something we get to eat a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Five Guys. For especially the amount of fries. I mean, the fries are great, the burgers are great, and you get an entire bag full. So
I get leftovers for days.
I'm all for it. When you start naming that against some of the rest of the fast food, yeah, for sure.
Well, you know, for us in over to Mason, I'm just going. That was mine. The GOAT for me is Chick-fil-A, and Mason, it might be yours too. But you know, I have it in 2 different ways though. So when I'm thinking about 10 out of 10, no matter where I go, the service is great. The food is great. Everywhere I go, Chick-fil-A. All right. Now, however, if I were to pick a fast food restaurant to eat the rest of my life, which is, it's a little bit different take, but if I had to eat a restaurant, fast food for the rest of my life, I'm going with Wendy's. A variety. They got burgers. They got chicken. They got baked potatoes. They got soups. They got salads. They got the Frosties. Chick-fil-A is kind of chicken. They have some soups, but no, I'm going with Coke, man. Chick-fil-A, man. I remember when he was in college, we used to get Chick-fil-A all the time. And that Chick-fil-A sauce is, we'd get like 10.
Man, the waffle fries.
I had them waffle fries. And I'd have 10 of them myself. Mason, I'm a little curious. What's the GOAT of your fast foods?
So I'm going with another chicken one, Raising Cane's. I remember we didn't get one in Owensboro till our senior year. We started eating there quite a bit, but Raising Cane's, kind of the same thing you said. You know, we don't have a whole lot of around here. Owensboro, and then Bowling Green has one. But every time I get Raising Cane's, you know, those are probably, I made some in like Lexington area, but every time I get Raising Cane's, it's always hot, it's always fresh. And their sauce is better than Chick-fil-A's. I hate to say it, Raising Cane sauce is better than Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm not against that take. I could if Cane's had more variety,
right,
I would be on Cane's side.
Yeah, they literally have like four meals.
4 meals.
That's okay with me.
And 3 of them are the same. It's just an extra quantity.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's all they need. It's so good.
I mean, it is good. I'm not going to say the bread is unreal. I mean,
another one
I don't know what kind of bread it is, but
so good. Another one that I don't know that many people eat a whole lot. And I don't know if I consider it fast food, kind of like Five Guys, because you actually have to go in and get it. But Penn Station. Penn Station. That's so good. You know, they got a variety of things.
Expensive though.
Yeah, that was a top choice in college. We finally went there quite a bit.
Yeah.
So like Five Guys is expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
It is. Yeah.
It's different. I mean, especially when you start comparing it to like a Subway or some stuff like that, like it really stands out. I'm a big Penn Station fan too, but I can get on board with that.
Yeah. Well, let us know, guys. Are you a Chick-fil-A person or are you a Raising Cane's person?
Hey man, they talked about bringing one to Glasgow. I don't. Chick-fil-A. Like,
no, I've heard players tell me that it's coming.
Yeah, I think it's coming. So
that'd be nice. All right, guys. We unfortunately released our episode whenever we were so excited about Tiger playing this week. Genesis tournament is coming up this week. Starts tomorrow. Torrey Pines, of course, the Genesis is had to be moved because of the wildfires. And we were all excited, pumped about Tiger playing. And then one of you all sent a message saying Tiger is out. He is withdrawn from the Genesis. Colton, how you feeling about this?
Man, I'm pretty bummed. Just because really the last few years, I mean, the Tiger, when you could look forward to seeing Tiger was the Genesis and essentially the 4 majors. And then like he might play at the Hero World Challenge at the end of the year in December, and then like the father-son with Charlie. And really that was like his few that he was going to play. I'll be honest though, I was shocked after his mother passed away. I was shocked for him to commit because he committed like 2 or 3 days after she passed away. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think he was going to play because 1, didn't know if his body was ready. 2, you added this on top of it. I was like, he's probably not going to play now. Then he committed. And obviously he withdrew, stating that mentally he was not prepared to play, and you know, because of his mother's passing. Understandable. I think he still said he's going to try to be there. It is his foundation tournament. So, you know, it's disappointing. I was looking forward to it. It was going to be pretty rough weather though. The next couple of days are just rain and wind and cold, and that's not ideal for Tiger. Not ideal for Tiger. And low-key, he might have been looking at that. You know, it might have played a factor into it.
He may have.
And not have really wanted to go through that. As tough as Torrey Pines plays. So, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to that, though. You know, actually getting to see a tournament where I think single digits
we're going to get
has
into
a chance. So,
let me say it to Mason real quick. Mason, as far as Tiger withdrawing, what's it going to do for the viewerships?
Oh, we all know what it's going to do for the viewerships. You know, I mean, whenever Tiger's playing, everybody tunes in and locks in. You know, I think everybody is pulling for, you know, him to win one more. So every time he's playing and he tees it up, everybody's locked in and really pulling for him. So I think we all know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We all would like to see him, but Colton was touching on something before we got there. But guys, weather forecast is about to be rough, and I don't know. I know you all have. I know you all have been seeing videos of the rough at Torrey Pines. Talk about Torrey Pines in general is hard enough as it is, but when you throw this type of weather and you throw rain into that rough, and that rough grabbing your clubs, what are we looking at as far as score wise, Mason? What are you thinking about how much that's going to affect these players?
Oh, it's definitely going to affect them. If I was to go out there, I'd be lucky to break 120 probably with the conditions in the rough. I mean, I think you're going to see. We'll get into our picks later, but obviously hitting the fairway is going to be at a premium this week. Trying to stay out of that rough, especially with this weather. Um, I don't know what a final score's going to be. I mean, I'd say they'll probably be pretty good the first couple days, to get close to 8-7, somewhere around there probably would be a good score for the first 2 days, just depending on whether it might be lower than that, but you have guys who are going to go out there and, fire a couple good rounds and they get to 7 or 8 for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I think it's definitely going to affect them.
Yeah.
I'll give y'all my pick here in a minute after Kobe kind of chimes in and y'all chime in.
So I'm thinking it's going to play harder than that. I do personally. The first 2 days, it's supposed to. Tomorrow, from what I'm reading, tomorrow is going to be the worst of it. And then Friday, it's still supposed to be showers on and off on Friday. And then Saturday, it's supposed to be cleared up a little bit with little wind. Sunday, it says it's going to be probably its best day. I'm thinking that if you can go into the weekend at like 4 under, I think you are sitting good. And I think that the final score would be maybe right at 5 or anywhere from 5 to 7 under. And that's just my thought. Colton, what are your thoughts on scoring?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to the Golf Channel today, and they were talking about if you play, especially day one at even par, or even get to the weekend at even par, that you're going to be in pretty good shape. So
Okay.
that's and I think they're combining with the rough and the weather. Obviously, without the weather, I mean, they're playing a South course, which plays 2 or 3 shots harder than the North course. They're playing
it's
all
longer,
4 days.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's longer. It's a very tough course. I mean, to go low on even on great conditions. So I think that's what they're thinking with the weather. I will say this: a big part of the South course at Torrey Pines, the reason that it makes it so hard when you get in the rough is that the greens are usually so firm that it's hard that once you're in the rough, it's hard to get it to stay on the green coming out of the rough. I don't know if the rain will help that, right? If it softens the green some. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to go low, but man, these guys are good.
Yeah.
They're all good. This is a signature event. I'm going to predict the winning score at 11. I just am.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's lower than that at all, but I just think there's going to be someone that conquers the weather on the first day. They're going to have the round of their life, and then by the time the weather lightens up, they're going to have that lead. So,
and all of it is when you go out. I mean, the morning wave or the afternoon wave. I mean, that's something that I've really talked to you all about. How I get, but at the same time, it is a little bit unfair. But obviously, it's the weather that you can't control that. So Colton going at 11 under. I'm gonna go 7 under, and Mason, you said 8 under. So pretty close. Colton, who's your favorites? Give me 2 favorites and a sleeper you got.
yeah, I mean, I think your 2 major favorites have to be Scotty and Rory. I mean, but I think that's going to be every week, right? So I think we could just go with Scotty as a consensus favorite. And obviously McIlroy's playing unreal. Also, I think I'm excited for Rory's because they talked about how his biggest thing this offseason was instead of just trying to be so mechanical and everything, he wanted to start being more like Scotty and just like feeling his way through shots. Like it just didn't really matter. Like it's almost like one of those where you could take a 5-iron and hit it anywhere from 120 to 210 yards just based on your swing. He wanted to be able to be that type of guy. and obviously he won at Pebble Beach.
We would all love to be that type of guy.
Right.
Right.
But he won at Pebble Beach. The weather wasn't great there one day, and he looked good. Obviously, the European. So my sleeper pick is going to be Shane Lowry. I just think that
You're
the
really hitting
European-
him on them Europeans.
the
They
Europeans,
know how to,
the-
they know how to fight against the weather.
they do. They grew up playing in the wind, the rain all the time. They know how to control their ball better than a lot of the Americans. I like Shane Lowry as a sleeper pick this week. So
Yeah, that's a
maybe
good
hopefully
pick.
he doesn't withdraw like my sleeper pick last week. So
All right, Mason. Before we get to you though, I've got Rory on my list. You know, I was looking at some of his stats and stuff, and it was saying how he's ranked number 1 on difficult driving courses. I thought that was very interesting. Whenever the course plays really difficult, he's not first whenever it's just a week in, week out, but just whenever the course is considered a difficult driving course. And then after him, I've got Colin Morikawa. I really like Colin Morikawa, and that for a lot of reasons. First off, in the fairways is key this week. Right now, he's second in driving accuracy. He's nearly at 80%. So he's hitting a lot of fairways. And, you know, Colin Morikawa, that's not what he's known for. He's known for his iron play. Dude can light it up. When he gets on a heater, watch out. And, you know, I think he's finally finding himself. Last year, competing in all the majors, he was right there. I think he led a couple of them there for a little bit. This year, he's played well. But I like Colin Morikawa. Now, my sleeper, and it's very ironic because I literally sent a message about this guy right before he played at Pebble, and he went on the air to say, you know, my golf game is in a terrible place. I'm terrible. But if y'all know who I'm talking about, I'm going with Victor Hovland. Last time he played at Torrey Pines, it's been a while. It was in 2021, and he had a T2 there finished. But I think that this course is a course for him. It's a long course. He can bomb it down there. And he does struggle with his short game, but he also is a pretty good iron player. So that's my sleeper this week. I really like Victor. I think that he's going to have a big year this year after coming off last year, not playing well at all. So I expect Victor to have a big year, and that's my sleeper. Mason, who you got this week?
So my favorite is Rory, as you all have both said. Y'all throwing out some stats there, but I think distance is going to play a big part in the course this week with it playing over, 7,700 yards or something.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And, you know, Dylan, you threw out there that, you know, his driving stats on difficult driving courses, you know, have been really well. He has that distance. So if he's hitting the fairway, you know, I think look out for him this week. Also, I read a stat that he's played here 4 times with 3 top 7 finishes. 3 out of the 4 times he's played here, he's finished in the top 7. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite pick of the week. I feel like he's playing well right now. Another one that I like is Hideki. I feel like he's just playing, you know, so well right now, and he's so consistent. You know, he cracks me up though. You know, he'll swing and finish one-handed, and it'll be 30 foot, you know, right of the pin, and I'm like,
holding a
that'd
one-arm
be-
finish.
that'd be my best shot all day if I hit that. So Hideki's another one I like, and then my sleeper for this weekend, who I feel like is starting to get back into form a little bit and playing well. Kind of a cool comeback story. Gary Woodland. I think it'd be awesome for him to do well. You know, he's been through a lot, and kind of fighting his way back and finding his game a little bit again.
Yeah. You know, I'm really excited about this tournament, and I think it's because of the weather. Like, we as viewers, we like seeing these pros struggle. I mean, there's nothing. They're like when they played at Pebble Beach on 9, whenever they were having to hit knockdown irons from 100 or knock down. Some of them hit wedges, but like one of them got up. I think Rory hit a 9 iron. Was it 9 iron from 105 yards? I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to see. I think it's going to be set up for a ridiculous week. I hope the weather doesn't hurt the tournament, but I do think that it will definitely. We like to see those players struggle.
Makes us feel a little bit better about our golf game.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I think that it's going to be a good tournament, and obviously we hate that Tiger can't play, but Kobe, you said he plans on being there, so the players will still appreciate that. All right, guys, you know what time it is.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
It's time for Dylan's Ultimate Pop Quiz Challenge.
If you knew how many messages I got about
Skibbity Riz.
what is Skibbity Riz, you would have no idea. I mean, it was bad.
Well, this one is going to be a little easier. It's sportsy this time. So here we go. Let's go with Colton. And we have 3 each again. Colton, who holds the record for the most points scored in a single game by a University of Kentucky men's basketball player? You should know this.
I want to go with Jody Meeks.
That is correct.
Against Tennessee, was it 54?
Yep,
Yeah.
54.
54. How about that?
Boom,
There we
on
go.
the board already. Yeah.
Okay.
Dang. All right, here we go. Colton 1. Mason, how many consecutive threes did Tayshaun Prince make against North Carolina on December 9th in 2001?
I just watched this clip the other day. Was it 6 or 7?
Oh, 5.
I just watched it the other day.
All right, Colton with an early lead.
Oh, man. Here we go.
All right, Colton, how long is a NCAA and NBA court in feet? And before you answer, think about Jay Billis. He does specials with this all the time.
94. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Hey. Here we
Man.
go.
Ooh, Colton coming out hot
Two,
this
man.
week.
2-0.
Oh, yeah.
I stole the test answers. No, I'm just messing.
Hey,
It's
I
crazy.
said, hey, Colton's eating and leaving no crumbs this week, man.
Man, cleaning up.
All right, Colton, man, 2 already off the bat. All right, Mason. Which team won the first NCAA men's basketball tournament?
Oh my goodness. What year was it? Can I get a year?
I'll be honest with you, I don't have a year.
You have a conference? Give him a conference.
Yeah, give me a conference.
Pac-12, I believe.
Say UCLA.
That is incorrect.
I had no idea.
It is the Oregon Ducks.
I didn't even know they'd won a national championship, to be honest. Have they won one since?
Yeah, they won COVID year, didn't they?
What? No, Baylor did.
No, that was Baylor. No, Oregon.
Baylor beat Gonzaga in the COVID year.
Ooh, we're going to have a blowout this week. Colton 2, Mason 0. All
I
right.
don't know.
All right, Colton, let's shift gears a little bit. Still a sports topic. Let's see how smart and how much you really know Tiger. What is Tiger Woods' real name?
Eldrick Tiger
Oh.
Woods. Man.
For a little bit extra, can you
You
tell
give
me
him
where
all
that?
the easy ones.
Can you tell me where?
Name that movie, Bulldog.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Give me all the easy ones.
Colton, can you tell me where it originated from?
where
Eldrick, where he got Tiger. His name is Eldrick. You got that right. But where did Tiger originate from? You still got it right. I'm just curious. Do you know?
I don't guess I actually know why they call him Tiger.
Right. His dad's military buddy was named Tiger. And he was a Vietnamese friend of his father during the army, and it said that he had saved Tiger's father's life a few times when they served in the Vietnam War.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
There you go.
There you go.
for the
Fact
viewers
of the
out
day.
there, yep,
Fun
fact of the day.
facts. Yeah.
Now you know where Tiger originated from. All right, Mason, come on, man. You got to get on the board.
Give him all the easy ones.
What?
Not fair.
Mason, what is the maximum amount of golf clubs you are allowed to carry in a tournament?
See, this is kind of the same
We're
as
going to see if
numbers.
Mason's been
hold on.
cheating or not.
He's counting them up right now. He's
Are you
literally
trying
counting his back.
to count how many you
13?
have in your bag?
13?
Colton, can you share with him?
14.
14. Oh, we got a
Dang.
clean sweep this week. like
And
Kentucky did on
Man,
Tennessee.
this-
Bring us
this
some
is-
sweeps.
this is a
I
much
knew
better
all the
redemption
codes.
week.
I knew all the codes. You gave him the easy ones.
I hope you get all the texts this week. How do you
Yeah,
not know that,
yeah.
Mason? How do
Golly,
you not know that?
stink.
I can't believe
My
you don't know
goodness.
that.
It's the
Hey,
pressure,
all right.
folding under the pressure.
I had this as a bonus.
All right, this is
but-
worth 3. This is worth 3 points.
Nah, I can't give you 3 points. But
First person to answer it. Get it.
name the past 5 Kentucky basketball coaches in order, not including Mark Pope.
Not including
alternate.
Mark Pope.
Not
That's
including
alternate.
Mark Pope.
Go ahead. Let's go backwards. Go ahead.
We're
and then I'll go.
We're
and then
going to
you
go with John Calipari, Billy Gillespie, Tubby Smith, Rick Pitino, and I'm going to say
Pitino.
Eddie Sutton.
Oh, okay,
Bing.
coming out. Hey,
Bing, bang,
Mason,
ball.
I did not send these to Colton beforehand. I promise you.
Sure. He texted you and was like, come on, I need some redemption. I need some redemption this week. Give me the answers.
He just see me like roll up my sleeve here and just
Yeah. He has it all written on his arms.
I'm just cheating on the test or something. Nobody can see.
I got
You
the
know,
skunk this week.
Yeah, maybe next week. Wow, I really thought you would got the.
give me
the
that crown.
The
yeah, I know.
Tayshaun one I should have
I
got.
thought you should.
Yeah.
I thought you would have got the
You should've
Tayshaun,
got
and I
the
for
Tay-
sure
yeah.
thought you would have got the golf too. I knew that.
Dylan, when
If
is
you'd have said
when
15,
have I
though, we'd have
played?
had the question all the tournaments you had played in.
I was gonna say, when is the last time that I had played in like an actual tournament that they count at my club? Never.
Yeah.
That is
Never.
true. Never. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hey, this is going to be a good one. Before we end the night on another sports topic, we're going to have a little bit more fun. A skill you are terrible at. And we're going to end with Colton on this one. Mason, what is a
All right.
skill that you are terrible at?
All right. I've only tried this once and I'll never try it again. Okay. Y'all know the little skin boards at the beach that you can like throw right along the shoreline and slide on them?
Yes.
So me and Brittany, we went on a little like 3-day vacation by ourselves back in 2021 after we'd had Beckett. And we went down to Panama City Beach and we were on the beach one day and I was like, I saw somebody doing it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go out to eat tonight. I'm going to give me one of those. It looks really fun, So we go
You're an
by it, and
athlete.
the next
You
day,
can do it.
or absolutely, like I'm athletic. I'm decent at everything, I've ever tried, cornhole, pool, everything I'm pretty good at, average. I'd say above average. And I was like, I can do that. I get out there and I take off running and I throw that thing down and I try to jump on it. And I mean, it was like immediately the thing jumped out from under my feet. I had a sore this big on the side of my hip, just raw skin. It looked like a 3rd-degree burn on my hip. I got up limping. I threw it in the ocean, didn't grab it again. I was like, I am done with that.
Hey, Mason's sitting on the side. Corner guy. Corner guy.
I knew Diet Coke. Diet Coke. Can of corn. Can of corn.
Yeah, not corner guy. Can of corn. That's like.
Yeah, I couldn't get water on it in the shower. It was so raw and all my skin was tore off. I was like,
That
never
is
doing
the
that
worst
again.
when you skid your skin on sand.
It was
It's like
awful.
stepping on a Lego. You know that feeling. Oh, middle of the night, get up to use the restroom. On Lego.
Happens more often than I want it to. Trust me.
All right, the talent. I have something that I know that it probably shouldn't be a terrible skill, but I am just not good at it. And I'm right there with you, Mason. Like I feel like I can do a lot of things. I feel like I'm a pretty good athlete. And maybe that's just not being arrogant, but I mean I feel like I'm confident in my capabilities. But when I was younger, when I was dating still, we'd go on some dates whenever I'd date, and we'd go to the bowling alley. And I started finding out that I was getting beat every single time I would play. I mean, I am terrible at bowling. It got to the point where I need to put them bumpers up on the side, like the little kids things, and just bounce them off. I cannot bowl. For me, I feel like I've tried everything. I've tried just rolling it straight. I've tried the spin, put a little English on it. Every single time, gutter ball almost. It is terrible, and it's to the point now I don't go bowling. me and Claire, we don't go bowling. And I don't like bowling, and I'm not good at bowling. So you will not find me at a bowling alley. I'm just not
You
good at it.
let me coach you up.
I need some coaching because talk about L after L after L. It was awful. So we got going on to the beach. Well, I don't know, skimboarding. That's what it's called, skimboarding.
Yep.
Bowling, coaching. What is a terrible skill that you
I may very well be the worst snow skier on this planet. I have been 3 times, and it has been a miserable experience every time. I mean, I can't tell you how much I dread it. Anytime I've ever been.
The whole ride up
listen, never been.
Oh,
No.
Everyone kept telling me, look, the hardest part was just getting off the lift. They say if you stand up once you get off the lift, like as long as you don't fall off of it, they're like, you're good to go. Got off the lift, slid. The problem is that once I started, turned the corner, I couldn't stop, right? And so everyone was like, oh, just do the pizza. That's all it takes. Do pizza. Well, what I found myself was I kept picking up speed. And there's no worse feeling than knowing that you're going 100 miles an hour down a hill, and there's a school of children training at the bottom, and you have 2 choices, and that's wipe someone out down there or crash.
And you chose the latter.
And so I would choose to crash to save a life. And I mean, you talk about just painful, because like in skis, you can't just fall back on your butt. You're trapped up to your knees. So if you just fall straight backwards, you're talking about tearing ACLs, MCLs, everything else. So you just have to crash, right? And you talk about just miserable.
Like, and you're right. Once you go, you can't stop. And you literally, in your head, you're like, okay, this is it. I don't know how this is going to end, but I'm going to crash.
I mean, I got to the point I was just literally walking down the mountain every time. And the little medical snow ski just following me. just waiting.
They already picked you out. They're like, we
just
need to follow this guy
I
mean, time.
But look,
check up and down the red suit, keep an eye on him.
After every time I went, I seriously can't walk for like 3 days. Like it is literally one of the most things I hate in the world is even the thought of skiing.
And why do you keep going?
Look, I ain't been in several years since then. I got talked into a bunch of times. Never again. I'll fake an injury before I go.
Mason, like, you know good and well, Mason, there's that dad or mom over there just like, all right, kids, you need to be looking at this guy. This is not how you do it. Let's watch this guy right here.
I mean, get out of the way. He's coming again.
I don't know why, but I've never looked. That goes for ice skating, surfing on the water, anything like that. Those type of things I cannot do. If you do anything,
what about like going? What about training? How about you ever went to the kids clinic and trained a little bit before?
And I should have, because they were doing a lot better down there than when I, until I took them out. But
huge lot of kids, they have small baby ramps and cones in there. Like, you can do it.
You really find out a lot about yourself when you're going 100 miles an hour and you're like, you got 2 choices. Either that kid's getting knocked out or you are. So
he looks like Adam Sandler off of Billy Madison with all the kids, the small kids. Right?
Skiing is hard. I've never been to wipeouts. What? Oh, Mason. No. You know what? You need to go, and then you come back on the show and talk to us about how it went, because I've had my fair share of wipeouts. I mean, I've done a complete flip the first time I went. No joke. Like, I can't recall who I was with, but like, I've done a complete flip. And one random guy was like, dude, are you all right? And I was like, I think so. But yeah, it's hard to stop. Pizzas, baby. Pizzas.
Did you try snowboarding?
It's a garbage. It's a false tail.
I think snowboarding is harder. But
that's what they say. But the thing with snowboarding is you can actually slide down on your butt the whole time, which is what I would have done.
Yeah. Well, those are all skills that your boys here are terrible at. We've got bowling, we've got skimboarding, and we've got skiing. So if you're good at any of those, please send us a message and kind of give us some tips on how to
Some
become better at them.
advice. Absolutely.
All right, guys, this week we've got a full slate of college basketball. Now, I will go on the air to say that most of our important games probably will be coming from the SEC because let's just face it, college basketball without the SEC this year is just a little league show, in my opinion. So, what are some games that you're looking forward to this week? Coaching, what are you looking for?
Yeah, obviously, I think the biggest one is Auburn, Alabama. I think that's everyone's. I'm assuming surely College Game Day won't drop the ball on this one, right? Surely you're going to still be at Alabama, I would think, for this game. I mean, got to be. So, I mean, that's the game to look forward to.
They're calling it
Kentucky,
the game of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think these really are two of the top three. I think you could probably throw Duke into that. And then, I think those are three of the teams you've looked at so far and say I think for sure those are top three teams in the country right now. So playing those two right now, Kentucky plays at Texas. It's kind of a trap game, so it worries me a little bit. I don't know how healthy we're going to be. Texas has kind of been derailing, right? And it's a home game. How many times has Kentucky ever played at the University of Texas in basketball? Yeah. Right. So, I mean, they're going to be hyped just for the Kentucky. So it could be a setup game. I could see it, but so I would love to see us go into an atmosphere of another one that we don't have some of our guys and find a way to win.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But yeah, the SEC games are just the ones to watch every weekend now going forward.
Mason, before I send it over to you, interesting stat here. There has never been a number 1 and number 2 matchup in SEC basketball history.
So
wow.
Also, no. Something more interesting. There's also never been a number 1, number 2 matchup in SEC football. Can you believe that?
Really?
That's what I read.
That one is hard to believe.
I know.
That is very hard to believe.
Well, you had like number 1 and 3 this year. Yeah. Like I think Alabama and Georgia were like 1 and 3 when they played, weren't they, or something? Or maybe Texas was. Shoot, you had Texas, Alabama, and Georgia that was like 3 of the top 4 this year. I guess they never played at the right time.
That's what. Now that could be a false stat, but that's what I've read about. I know for sure for basketball, but it also said for football, and that blew my mind. Mason, I know that you probably have Auburn and Alabama. Talk about that game just a little bit, and then any others that you're looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, Auburn, Alabama, like Colton said, all year I feel like those two teams have been kind of the favorites all season to win the national championship. I personally don't think there's a better team right now in college basketball than Auburn. I don't know if y'all watched them play very much, but I mean, they just night in and night out, they're a well-oiled machine. It's
all around.
It's going to be really hard to beat them.
It also goes to show how good they are that they lost and they still were ranked number 1 by multiple people. And that's AP poll. That's why they're still at 1.
Right. Yeah. And so I don't know. It'd be a good game. Be fun to watch. Kind of two different styles. Auburn. I mean, they both shoot the ball a lot and shoot it well. Yeah. But Auburn defensively, they're a lot better than what Alabama is. So it'll be interesting to watch. Cody, you watching the Arkansas game right now?
Yeah, they just finished up. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, Wake Forest was in the last 4 in. They had a bad last-second loss to Florida State tonight, who was not in the tournament. So, and for Arkansas was the very first team that was out. So I would not be surprised for Arkansas to be now in that last 4 in after they just beat LSU.
LSU's not good.
No,
but
they
have 3 or 4 games coming up that are against ranked opponents. So if they can get 2 of those,
we'll see how they do. They got to go to Auburn and to Texas A&M. I don't expect either of those to be wins, but they do get to play. I think Mississippi State and Missouri at home to finish the year.
Yep.
So those are 2 chances they have to take there at the end.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think obviously Auburn, Alabama, game of the year, 1 and 2. The only thing that I just don't like about that game is that the start time. I do not like that it's a 1 o'clock start time. It may be 2 o'clock, but regardless, I'd like to see a nightcap like at 6 or 7:30. I don't know. I've always enjoyed those big Sonic blockbusters to be at a 6 o'clock, and I think that it could possibly hurt them. Other than that game, though, I'm looking forward to seeing the Houston-Arizona matchup. I think that's a good one to look forward to. I know Arizona, they lost, I believe, was it last night? Kansas State.
Yeah, they cost me $500 on a bet. Had like a $5 bet in that would have won me $500.
Yeah. I think Houston is one of those teams that year in and year out, they're there. It's just you never know what you're going to get with them late in March because they're just hit or miss. And a lot of that I think is to the conference that they're in. I know they're in Big 12, and I know the Big 12 has great teams. I know that last year they had the most in the NCAA tournament. Not saying that the Big 12 is not a good conference, but when it gets to March, I feel like they see a little bit more of a different style of play.
Yeah.
Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I think that the thing with Houston's always been they're super physical and they're super athletic. But they've never
And their
just had
defense.
and their defense, right, but because of their their athleticism and their physical.
Right.
But how many times have we ever, even in the past 5, 6, 7 years, that Houston's been really good? Can you name a single dominant scorer? I can't. Like, I can't name a guy right now that was like, oh man, that guy was going for 20 a game. Right.
Yeah.
They've had really good players, but they've never had that elite scorer on any of these teams. And I think that's what hurts them when they get into tournament because they're physical, but then all of a sudden have these little stretches where they're not hitting because they've never had that like one guy that like, all right, go get the bucket.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's with Houston. You just never know, but with that type of team, you're going to be in every game, right? That type of team can travel. You can go on the road and win like they did at Kansas. Right, because you're physical and you play defense, so you just never know what you're going to get in March with them. They usually come up a little bit short, and it's usually because they get outscored. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of their staple is defense. They're always known to be that physical team that's really good at defense, and they've had a couple good guards in the past. What was it, Sheed, Cryer? They could get some buckets here and there, but like you said, they didn't really have a guy who could go take the game over when they needed it. And I feel like that's kind of what's killed them in March. They've always been athletic teams that are good on defense, but you get a team out there that gets hot and scores 75, and sometimes they struggle to keep up with that.
Yeah. Should be a good slate of college games this Saturday. Obviously, we'll be cheering on the Cats. And, Colton, I like what you said. This could be a setup game. But, hopefully we played good the past two games. Regardless of who we don't have, I think that we're built for what we have, and we'll see what we get out of them.
Mountain Mamba.
That's right, Mountain Mamba. Holler from the ball, or Holler Baller. That was another one.
Holler Baller. Yeah,
I like that. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Continue to like, subscribe, and look out for some more posts to come on our social media pages. We appreciate y'all. That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.